Welcome back to the Fireside Chat. My name is Connie, and I'm here with Amber Correa. Just a little visual description of myself. I'm a middle-aged white woman with a ponytail, black glasses, and a blazer on. My interviewee today is Amber Correa, a talented artist with disabilities, a woman of color who participated in the prestigious Kennedy Center internship programming, showcasing her passion in the arts. Now based in the UK, she continues to inspire through her creative endeavors. In the 2025 award ceremony held last night, Amber performed a moving violin piece inspired by the stories and achievements of the 77 awardees. Her performance highlights themes of inclusion and the transformation of the power of the arts. Amber's journey in artistry serves as a beacon for diversity, accessibility in our global arts community. Welcome, Amber.
Hello, thank you.
Amber, do you just want to describe yourself?
Yes, I am a young woman with long curly hair wearing a black suit with a green shirt.
Great. Let's get into some questions for Amber. So the first question is, what inspired you to create your violin piece for the Zero Project Award ceremony?
Well, when I was first asked, I wanted to create something that really represented the work that was being done to make this community more accessible. So I reached out to my aunt, who's a renowned composer named Carla Lucero, who had just finished composing her opera Touch, which is a story about Helen Keller and the foundation of the American Civil Liberties Union. So together we took themes from that, and we then deep dived through all of the pictures, all of the videos, all of the descriptions of all the awardees, and created this story of self-discovery. And it just became such an impactful, moving story for me, and I was so honored to be able to share it.
It's great to have family to work with, right?
Yes, it's very nice.
That share your passion for the arts. It's a family business, very much like the Zero Project and inclusive arts, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So how does your work highlight the importance of inclusion in the arts?
So my current work is both in my performance sphere. I have started a quartet called the Jasmine Quartet, and our sole purpose is to perform works and compositions by underrepresented composers, whether it be people with disabilities, people of color, people in the queer community, because classical music, it tends to be slightly exclusive, so we want to break those barriers. And in my research, I'm currently training as a music therapist, and I work with nonverbal autistic children from ages 3 to 5, and just introducing them to music and watching them through this creative lens has truly been inspiring for myself and in my own work, the things I learned from them. So, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. We'll probably want to hear a little bit more about that creative process. But let's talk about the impact in your participation in the Kennedy Center internship program that it's had on your career. And what is your experience regarding inclusion in the arts from that?
Yeah, so prior to my mentorship with the Kennedy Center, I was actually having a hard time. I didn't know if I could really pursue a career in classical music because in my experience it isn't the most accessible field, especially once you get to the higher conservatory level. And with my disability, it was injury after injury, and I couldn't find a community of people who could advise me. So when I applied to the Kennedy Center program and with my mentor and just started talking to Niv Ashkenazi and the group of women that also won, it has been life-changing. Through this program, they taught me how to present myself, how to continue working in this field, gave me practical advice, and through them I was accepted into my master's at the Royal College of Music. And through the support from my mentor, I have reached out and completed my training with Musicians Without Borders, and I'm now creating my career. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So talking about your creative process a little bit, and in regards to your disability, how have you worked through your building a new creative process when you work in your medium?
I think for me, it was just a mental switch. Instead of working despite my disability, I'm going to work with it and allow myself the space and allow myself the time. Like, I don't need to push myself to the point of hurting, because that's not going to get me anywhere anymore. And so once I got to RCM, I found the support. This was the first school that really had an accepting environment and people that would work with me and accommodate with me. And so I think with their support, they've kind of given me back my potential to have a performance career.
So in the U.S., there's a typical accommodation kind of with an accessibility office. Do you find that the same at the Royal Academy, or do they are they doing a hybrid model, or how does it work there?
It's a different pace at the Royal College of Music. In the US, they have all the accommodations on paper, but in the classical music world, it's very competitive, and you're still pitted against everybody at the same exact standard, which you should be, but they don't give you space to breathe. They expect you to be a robot. And so at the Royal College of Music, they really encourage us to promote our differences and promote our uniqueness and not be robots, but to be human and perform as humans and to tell our own stories, because that's what creates the music, and that's what creates this beautiful creativity that the college brings.
That's so interesting, and as a post-academic, I can vouch for we need to work on a new model for some of those things. As you talk about your creative process and making art, you're talking about restoration, right? Being able to go at your own pace. And have you seen yourself be able to really embrace the creative process more, creating more joy in your music making?
Absolutely. Having more space and just bringing my own flavor to my music has been so much fun. And then finding my quartet of people who I can do this with and playing all these compositions, it's been such an amazing experience. I feel like I'm finally creating my own path and my own vision, and truly what being a performer means to me. I'm having my identity now.
Yeah, I think that's so important, to claim those identities and to be a pioneer, you know, as a violinist with disabilities and all the other identities that you claim, to move forward in strength and power. So I love that for you. Can you talk a little bit more about your work with children with nonverbal autism and how you use music in that process?
Yes, so I started this work. I grew up with my best friend, her brother had Angelman syndrome. And just growing up around him and noticing how he kind of lit up whenever there was music, and he would start really communicating more with it. And I realized, okay, this is a path. Like, this is something that's really cool. And then I started teaching, and I noticed that a lot of times they're kind of pushed into a corner, and that's not right at all, because it's not that they think anything wrong, it's just they think differently than the society expectations. And when you give them this especially the children, I'm talking ages 3 to 5 or younger, you give them this creative outlet and you just watch their minds, and it's beautiful and it's inspiring. And so I started teaching music lessons. Right now I only have 2 students, and the first day I couldn't get them into the room. And now one of my students, he comes in, he sits at the piano, and he starts to play. So I've been teaching him pitch patterns for different words. And like no, yes is his name, his favorite toy, which is a cat. And I've been working with him for almost a year, and he said his first word the other day, it was cat. And it was the most heartwarming moment just to have that like response to the music.
I think those kind of stories are so important to tell, how music becomes first language and then verbal language comes after that. And even if it didn't, he would still have music as a first language.
Yes, absolutely. I truly believe, it's always been my belief that music in of itself is a universal language. You hear musicians saying that a lot, but in my work, I've seen it heal, like from people, because of my work with Musicians Without Borders, I've seen it heal people who have had truly traumatizing experiences, but then rebuilding that community through music from people who don't speak the same language, do not have the same culture or religion, but they're all communicating through music. I think it's something that the world needs at the moment.
And do you feel like you're finding your community with disability and music and in the arts?
I'm working on it. I think meeting people here has definitely been a big step, and through the Kennedy Center program, Access VSA, having that community as well. I think in the conservatory classical music world, we are a couple of steps behind, but every single step counts. So I'm hoping that through my work and through RCM's work in community building, we'll slowly bring more disabled people, more disabled children into and say, yes, classical music is a path, it is a possibility, so come join.
That's amazing. Well, I have to say, Amber, you are really a new, inspiring leader, you know,
Thank
with
you.
great strength and power in using your music to introduce awareness, disability awareness, to show your strength as a musician with a disability. I think that's really important, and I think you'll be a pioneer in this new pathway that you have, and you'll be able to give music access to many more people as well. And I think the unique thing about the Zero Project Conference is that you find like-minded community to build networks with and partnerships with as you move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Meeting everybody here has been so inspiring. It's given me so many ideas. I know there's a group of people here that we're already planning, so hopefully there's more to come.
Great. And I'm just going to ask you, since our time is almost up, if you have a few final words, anything that you want to talk to our audience about.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, you know, the music world is a diverse place, and it's something that we should celebrate. And though classical music, we study past music, but that doesn't mean that there's not stuff happening right now within this beautiful realm of music. And again, it's every single step that counts, every single person that gets involved, every single person who attends the concerts and promotes these underrepresented composers. It makes a difference, and I hope we can continue making that difference.
That's amazing. Amber, thank you so much for being your true self and spreading your joy through music with all of us.
Yeah, thank you.